Welcome, everyone, to this session on AI Beyond the Hype. We have already heard quite a bit earlier today on AI, so clearly it's a topic that is front of mind for all, or at least most. No matter your level of experience or expertise in this space, I think you'll find this session particularly valuable. We'll get into some practical applications a little bit more and just talk about what's going on in this space. So we have two keynotes from very esteemed experts. First, we'll start with Minerva Tantoco, who's the former first Chief Technology Officer of the City of New York. And then we'll have another presentation by Jermy Prenio, who's the Principal Advisor for the Financial Stability Institute. So collectively, the presentations will really be looking at navigating real-world opportunities and implications in AI. So again, I think, make sure that you're looking for the practical opportunities here. Should help us dig through all of the noise that's out there and get to what really matters. So with that, happy to start off with Minerva's keynote.
Hello, everyone. I'm Minerva Tantoco, and I'm excited and honored to be part of SoupTech Week 2024. I just want to thank you all for the important work you do and for being an inspiration to me. I'm here today to talk about a topic that's close to my heart, the human component of AI, human agency, and the critical importance of data governance in AI applications. In our rush to embrace artificial intelligence, we often forget that at its core, AI is a tool created by humans. For humans, it's not a replacement for human intelligence, but an augmentation of it. In other words, it's humans that make technology better by making sure that we use it to serve us and not the other way around. In my career as an AI practitioner and in leading digital transformations across tech, finance, government, and research, I've been very fortunate to have the front row seat to the evolution of AI since the mid-1980s. When I was in college, I first got interested in AI as a way to study the human brain. Could we teach a machine to think? I was a senior in college when I helped start my first company, which at the time we called Expert System. It was really designed to take massive amounts of corporate data and apply rules and use formulas and make projections to assist strategic planners in developing scenarios for the companies they worked for. In the mid-'80s, we had very little data. We had to download it from a mainframe. We didn't have a lot of compute power, and the computers themselves were not connected to each other. We worked on a single machine. But of course, now the evolution of the internet, the digitization of data, and the invention of massive compute power has completely transformed the capabilities of the technology that we have at our disposal. From my perspective, the spirit and the intention of these tools remains the same. They're really there to help us be more productive, more efficient, make better decisions. In fact, we called them decision support systems. They weren't decision systems. They were there to support human decision-making. Fast forward to 2024, and we've had both an incredible amount of fear and panic, as well as overhype of this technology and the power it might have. On the one hand, AI is going to bring about the end of the world. And on the other hand, AI will save all of humanity. So as we embrace more and more capabilities, the answer is actually somewhere in between. Our reactions of both fear and hype is, in the end, doesn't take into account our ability to control it, to tell it what to do. So AI should be empowering us. And the more deeply we integrate technology into our lives and our work, we must be vigilant about maintaining human agency. It's going to enhance our decision-making capabilities, but should not make decisions for us. In my work as the first CTO of New York City, I focused on using technology to democratize and equalize and provide access to more people, and to make the lives of everyday New Yorkers easier, deliver government services more efficiently, provide access to technology more available. The same principle should guide our approach to AI. We must ensure that AI systems are transparent, explainable, and accountable to the humans that it serves. So what are the key principles upon which we can work with AI more effectively? We can do AI within a framework that includes the human component at every step of the way. I'm going to tell you about 5 different aspects of this framework that you can consider when you're using these powerful tools. The first and foremost in importance is, of course, the data. If AI is an engine for insight, then data is the fuel for that engine. And if there's bias in the data, there's impure fuel in your car, then the data used to train an algorithm, that increases the risk that models will produce biased results. So if you have a data set which is imbalanced in some way or not appropriate for the insights that you're looking to develop, data which is imbalanced for the people that you intend to use it for, perhaps that data wasn't even collected at the time and reflects a historical gap in data collection. Well, these data can be inaccurate for the groups of people that you're planning to use it for. And the training data should be examined for potential bias and its appropriateness for use with a particular group. So check, where did this data come from? Is it reliable? Are you collecting the right data? Data governance is at the very foundation of AI governance, and it's important to really interrogate your data sources as the foundation of any AI approach. The next component is design or solution design. And what I mean by design is very clearly defining the problem that you're trying to solve. Think ahead about the actual question you're trying to answer. The human element plays a role here. How will the results of this project solve an existing problem? What is the expected human impact? How will this algorithm solve that problem? So be very clear on what problem you're trying to solve. And then another key question is, what are you optimizing for? As part of the design, you want to make sure that what you're optimizing for is appropriate for the purpose that you seek. Are you optimizing for cost savings or better health outcomes or shorter wait times? Or are you simplifying a process or providing user-friendly instructions? Define what those desired outcomes are, and then make sure you're using the right proxies for the solution. So how are you going to measure the success of this project? And are you measuring the right things in designing the problem statement and the solution statement? The next component is to think about the development itself. By that, I mean the development of the tool or selecting which tools are the right ones for this particular problem and solution set. AI encompasses so many things now with all the advances we have. We have problem solving or predictive analytics or deep learning and machine learning. You have to make sure you select the right thing. 20 years ago, I helped to design and patent an automated processing system that would reduce the time and cost of applying for a home loan. In this case, we thought about the current process. Where are the bottlenecks? Where are the costs? And where a new method might be more accurate. And then we ended up combining some process automation and rules that could be different depending on the previous steps and the results of the next step. And so the lesson here is, when you are using a tool, are you choosing the right type of tool? Do you need a large language model, which may have different results every time? Or do you need a rules engine, which has a model that produces the same results every time? Or do you need a combination of the two? Maybe you need more than one tool to ensure you're getting to the right answer. And then, of course, you want to make sure that you're developing the right way to test the tool once you're done. A great way to test is through a proof of concept or building a prototype. And then, of course, running a controlled pilot. In this way, you can test your assumptions in a risk-controlled pilot. And all of this is part of the design. And then you can use those learnings to redesign or to scale your solution. The last piece is about decisions themselves. is this a decision support system? How much of this should be automatic? How much should a human do to check it first? Decision support systems give to machines, which machines do really well: interpret and gain insights from massive amounts of data or multiple complex numbers of variants, and then it supports the human making the decision. So in terms of the decision, is the machine deciding, or are you the agent getting the information and making that decision itself? But ultimately making that human decision, figure out also if there could be a human override function built in. It reminds me of when the first mapping technology came out and you would get directions from the computer printed out and bring it with you in the car. But in the beginning, some of those mapping directions were wrong. And people would read the directions. It says, make a left turn here. And it turns out that that left turn wasn't valid. It was a ditch, or that road was closed. But people were getting into accidents because they just followed the directions and they were biased toward believing the machine versus their own eyes. Of course, now we have reroute and better mapping capabilities, but the point of this is we still need to watch out for that machine bias. So no matter what is the technology you're using, no matter how advanced it is, you as the human should be able to actually override it if it doesn't seem right, and use that knowledge to train the system so that it gets it right the next time. When I helped design a digital bank from scratch, one of the key pieces was to develop an account opening process that was simple but still met all the regulatory requirements. We designed it so that when a potential new customer was filling out an online form to open an account, in the background, the rules were automatically being applied, data searches conducted, and a customer profile was automatically being created in the background. But we didn't open that account automatically. That required a final approval from a human officer to confirm the findings or to handle or escalate exceptions. In this way, we kept the human in the loop and still created a process which reduced the time it took to apply for a loan from taking weeks to less than an hour. The final principle in this framework is about deployment. How do these systems get deployed? How are you putting the system out into the world? Is there the right training in place for the people that will use it? Do they understand that they have agency? Are you also monitoring and evaluating the results to ensure that they're the ones that you intended to have? In other words, as we started in the beginning, we said, check out the data, what goes in, but we should also be checking what comes out and making sure that we have the ability to correct those incorrect results if need be, and then use that to make the technology better and to make better decisions going forward. And in the deployment, make sure that everyone who's using it and everyone who it's being used for has a level of AI literacy to understand these components. So we need to promote AI literacy as a component of all educational understanding of AI and how they work, how to use them, when to use them, and as a first step in giving us agency over these technologies. So these 5 components: data, design, development, deployment, and decisions, are really just a framework of how to put some guardrails around the technology that you, the humans, are using. It's not just about compliance or risk management. It's about ensuring the ethical use of these technologies, and that we need to create systems that are not just powerful, but also responsible and respectful of human rights, protect individual privacy, and maintain trust. We are just at the beginning. Even 40 years later, I can say we're all just at the beginning of this exciting frontier of AI. Let's not lose sight of our humanity. Let's create AI that reflects our diverse perspectives, respects human agency, and adheres to strong ethical principles. If we seek out adversity, think ahead about what could go wrong, and emphasize our role in it, this will help us define the solutions. The challenges we face in AI development today are opportunities to create better and more human-centered technology. Everyone in this room is smarter than a machine. So thank you so much for including me in Soup Tech Week. And let's remember, keep the human in the loop.
Wonderful, very valuable and impactful words there about how we need to ensure we're keeping front of mind the human elements of using AI. Next up then, we have Jermy Prenio, who's the Principal Advisor for the Financial Stability Institute, who will be adding to Minerva's comments.
Good day, everyone. My name is Jermy Prenio, Principal Advisor at the Financial Stability Institute of the Bank for International Settlements. There's a lot of talk about how artificial intelligence, or AI, and other new technologies are transforming financial supervision, and that innovations in this space can lead to more efficient and effective supervisory processes. In short, much hope is pinned on these technologies to, in a way, improve the quality of supervision. Perhaps to clarify the role of technology in this space, let me start by revisiting the main factors that affect the quality of financial supervision. In my view, there are two main factors. One is the ability of supervisors to identify issues in supervised entities, and two, their ability and willingness to act on these issues. Technology can definitely help with the first one. AI and other new technologies are able to provide more accurate and timely information and insights to supervisors, which in turn improves their ability to identify issues in supervised entities. In doing so, these technologies in a way also enhance supervisors' ability to act because it provides them the basis for undertaking supervisory actions. However, this ability to act is constrained by the powers available to supervisors. Lastly, while more accurate and timely information and insights provided by technology can foster confidence in supervisors, thus theoretically it should also increase their willingness to act, this willingness is influenced more by factors such as supervisory independence and the presence of legal protection. So yes, to a certain degree, technology can influence the quality of supervision, but there are other factors that need to be considered as well. So we shouldn't just be relying on technology. Now, on the benefit that can be clearly attributed to technology, which as mentioned is the provision of accurate and timely information and insights, the more practical questions are, one, have supervisory authorities effectively embedded these new technologies in their processes to optimize the benefit from their use? That is, have these technologies become a critical part of supervision? And two, if they have not become critical to supervision, what factors may help supervisory authorities achieve this? I wanted to focus on these practical questions because while all the innovation work is well and great, we shouldn't lose sight of why we are doing all these innovations, and that is to support supervisors' work. As they say, the proof of the pudding is in the eating, and in this case, the proof of whether these innovations and new technologies are helpful for supervision is to see whether they are actually being used and have become integral parts of supervisory processes. Now, to answer the first question, let me cite the work done with the support of our informal SupTech network. This work resulted in a paper entitled Peering Through the Hype, Assessing SupTech Tools Transition from Experimentation to Supervision. According to the paper, some supervisory authorities have indeed managed to make new technologies a critical or integral part of their processes, but many still have not. The paper also provided answers to the second question, or in essence, making these technologies critical to supervision requires a structured and a well thought out approach. And here I'll enumerate the factors mentioned in the paper that can help in this regard. One is the importance of a SupTech strategy. The paper shows that supervisory authorities with SupTech strategies are more likely to have critical SupTech tools. But even with the presence of these strategies, what we notice is that some tend to focus only on experimentation and development work, and not really on how to deploy these tools once they are developed. So what happens is that experimentation and development work are quite effective and successful, but then the jump to implementation and deployment is where many authorities are struggling. Second, SupTech tools need to have its place in supervisory processes by addressing specific pain points in those processes. One of the common characteristics we observed of SupTech tools that have not become critical to supervision is that they tend to add an additional step or create another process. So when they were deployed, they got lukewarm reception from supervisors. And this was especially the case where supervisors did not have buy-in or a clear appreciation of the value of these additional steps or processes. So to us, this highlights the importance of the message that we have been saying in, I think, all our reports, that innovators within supervisory authorities need to be sensitive to the needs of supervisors. After all, they are developing tools not for themselves, but for supervisors on the ground. It would be wasteful to develop tools that supervisors may perceive as nice to have, but not necessarily important for their work. Third, to be seamlessly part of supervisory processes, SupTech tools need to be integrated into supervisory IT systems that support these processes. But this should not be done on a piecemeal basis. It is important to have a holistic and forward-looking approach in planning what we would call as this supervisory IT ecosystem. That is, the infrastructure, systems, applications, and tools that collectively support supervision work. Supervisory authorities need to look at SupTech tools in the context of this overall ecosystem and not in isolation. For example, we've encountered cases in which SupTech tools were initially considered critical tools, but then in parallel to their development, the plans for new supervision systems were also being developed, but without consideration of how to integrate the said tools. So when the new supervision systems were rolled out, the once critical SupTech tools were quickly relegated to the sidelines. Fourth, one of the common characteristics of the SupTech tools that have become critical to supervision is that they all rely on granular data. In fact, the supervisory authorities that have these critical SupTech tools have a long history of collecting these granular data. What the emergence of SupTech tools did is to allow these supervisory authorities to fully benefit from these granular data by making it easier to extract useful insights from them. To us, this highlights the importance for supervisory authorities to start with enhancing their data collection practices before pursuing the new technologies for data analytics. Fifth and last, supervisors need to be able to easily access and use SupTech tools and have confidence in using them. Another common characteristic of SupTech tools that have not become critical to supervision is that they do not have direct user interfaces. So supervisors, who are the ultimate users of the outputs of the tools, need to go to specialist colleagues in other units to run these tools. In some cases, these tools may have user interfaces, but they are not user-friendly, so supervisors are struggling to use them. In either case, there is a necessary barrier to entry to the use of the tools. Having said that, making sure that SupTech tools can be easily accessed by supervisors is one thing. Supervisory authorities also need to foster confidence among supervisors to encourage them to use the tools. And this involves change in mindset and culture, and also highlights the importance of change management. So let me stop here, and I hope my remarks today provided some useful insights in making sure that SupTech effectively transitions from being just an innovation topic to one that actually contributes to the quality of supervision. Thank you.
Excellent. Special thanks to Jermy here. This is so important and really adds nicely to Minerva's comments. Definitely, we all need to be very intentional about the tools that are being built and then used when it comes to AI. We are going to continue this conversation on AI with our next session. So very much invite you all to join AI Tools for Supervision. We'll be looking at machine learning models, generative AI systems, and beyond, of course. So please join us there. Thank you so much.